Welcome to Bible Weekly. My name is Henry Fisher. I'm from the United States, and I have been talking about a subject for the last couple of weeks called Power of Purpose. Understanding who we are, understanding why we exist, and understand where we're going. I started the first week out by saying, there's 5 questions that I ask a lot, and those 5 questions, is who are we? I talk to a lot of people. I walk up to many people sometimes, who are you? And of course, they'll introduce me. No, but who really are you? They might tell me their name, but I turn around again. I say, well, who are you? Many of us don't understand what God's real purpose is for us. To understand that, we have to understand who we are. We are created in the image of God. We're created in His likeness. We're created by Spirit. Even though we live in an earthly body, we are spirit in this body. Genesis, the first chapter, 26th verse, talks about 26th to 27th verse, that He created us in His image. Then number 2 is, why are we here? Number 2 is, let me go back. Number 2 is, where are we from? We are from the kingdom of heaven. Number 3 is, why are we here? And that's where I was talking about that last week, and I want to come in a little bit more on that, is what our purpose is on this earth, that God never duplicates anything He creates. So the gifts within you, who you are, you're unique in who you are, even though you are in the image of God, but you're also unique in who you are because you are different than anybody else. I use the example sometimes that I'm a part of what they call global entry. I travel a lot international, and when I go back home to the United States, I walk up to a kiosk and I put my passport in. It looks at my eyeballs, I put my fingers on, and it says, "Welcome home, Henry." It knows me. Yeah, it has the identity on my passport, but by my fingers and by my eyeballs. But recently they changed that. Now I go back home to the United States and I walk up to a kiosk and it looks like an iPad. I just look at it. It looks at my face and says, "Welcome home, Henry." It does not read my fingers. It doesn't read it might read my eyeballs because it's part of my face, but it doesn't look at my ID on my passport. Now, the reason I mention that, it fascinates me because it helps me to realize there's nobody like me. No, well, some people probably say, thank God. We all, one of Henry's enough. And this is a prime example of it is I give many examples of what I do in life, or I even say sometimes my example of how I witness to people, how I present the gospel to people. But I always look, but don't do what I do, because nothing's ever duplicated. You might learn from it. You might take some things from it, but you have to establish your own version of it because you are so uniquely created, your purpose on this earth, your style, how you do things, because God never duplicates anything He creates. Everything that God creates is original. So I take this down a step further that say your purpose in life, your purpose on this earth is unique. You can do something that nobody else can do. You can bring something to the table that nobody else can bring. You are the best at something. One of the things that I have a hard time with sometimes is when somebody comes up to me and start talking about so-and-so, about somebody else, and they say, that person is so talented. Did you see what they did? And I'll have a tendency of looking at that person, I'll say, so are you. You're so talented. See, we have a tendency of looking at people by what they do, where I believe God doesn't really look at that. God looks at why He created us, why He put us on this earth. Part of it is to have control over the things of this earth, to dominate the things of this earth. But within that, it's very unique. Your purpose might be to start a business. Your purpose might be to work for that person that starts the business to clean the bathrooms. That's important. So I believe everybody's position on earth is important, no matter where you are. I have a lot of fun with this, actually, because I walk up to, if I see, give you an example, if I go to a store somewhere and I see somebody cleaning, I'll walk up to them, I'll thank them. Thank you for cleaning. And many times they look at me, what? I look at them, I says, yeah, you're important. You keep the place clean. That's important. That's an important position. But we're geared so much on this earth and this life that we look by what somebody accomplishes as if that is how important they are. So we look at somebody as being more important than somebody else. But I like to say, no matter who you are, you're the most important person here. No matter who you are, you're the most important person. I happen to have an 8th grade education. I never went to high school. Now I had some Bible school classes later, but I never went to high school, never went to college. I have an interpreter when I go to the country of Brazil. She's 40 years old. She's probably been going to school most of her life. She has all these degrees and everything else. Many times I ask the question, who's more important, me or her? And they kind of look at me. I said, who does culture and society say is more important? Her. But who does God say is more important? See, God does not judge us by our education. God does not judge us by our job. God judges us by being faithful what He has given us to do. And that literally might be something that many people look, oh, I'd never want to do that. But I'm glad that people clean toilets. I'm glad that people clean bathrooms. I'm glad that people clean floors. I'm glad for those things. Why? Because it makes it more convenient for me. So I want you to understand that you are created in His image. You are here from heaven. Your purpose on this earth is unique. It's because who you are. And then the next question I like to ask is, what can you do? I just want you to think about that a little bit. What can you do? You're created in His image. I look at sometimes for instance, airplanes. How in the world do they fly? What keeps those wings just from not snapping off? I look at these big bridges. I'm from Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas area, and we have bridges that are on top of each other. In one place, there's 8 bridges on top of each other. And I look, what keeps them from falling down? But you see, here's what I keep saying. Or your cell phone. I can call anybody, anywhere in the world. I can take pictures. I can do all kinds of things with it. And you know what? This was created by somebody just like you, in the image of God. So within you lies inventions. Within you is the ability to do so much greater things. Why? Because that's how God created you. So I want you to think about, what can you do? Never underestimate the dreams that are in you, and never underestimate that those dreams are from God. But see, what happens many times, we end up crushing those dreams because we don't understand them. I'm not called to understand you. I'm called to support you. Because nobody thinks like you do. In fact, nobody understands how you think. That's how uniquely you're created. But what happens is when we try to think like somebody else, or we try to make somebody else think like we do, we get off track. And then our dreams are crushed by people around us. Why? Because they don't understand us. But I believe you're so uniquely created that you have a purpose on this earth that is your purpose. There's something in you that this world needs. Thank you so much for listening to Weekly Bible.